So last summer we went on vacation, me and the girls, and we met up with our family out in California. And if you've ever gone on vacation, especially if it takes into account of like a hotel, if you've ever been with kids, you know the eventual question will come up: Can we go to the pool? So obviously we found some time during our vacation, and we allowed the kids to go hang out and play at the pool. And the moms were on the side, and the dads were kind of playing with the kids in the pool. And there was a moment where I was just sitting on the side watching the kids, and just wonder, have you ever watched kids in the pool? They're not out there like trying to be Olympians. They're not asking if their backstrokes is clean or if their splash radius is too wide. They're just fully in it. They're not even trying to dive in perfectly. They're cannonballing and belly flopping, and they're just fully in it and completely. They're laughing, they're kicking, they're spinning in circles, singing underwater, getting the water up their nose and in their ears, and they're just out there moving, not to prove something, but because it just feels good to be in the water, to move around. Now, contrast that with how most adults act in the pool. We're stiff, we're calculated. Some of us were kind of sucking in the gut a little bit, worried about what we look like. We're thinking about how to move our arms, how deep our breath is. Some of us barely get in the water unless we've pre-planned the whole routine. Where's the towel? How am I going to get in? Where am I going to exit? That shift didn't happen overnight. Somewhere along the way, we traded in play for performance. And it didn't just happen in the pool. It happened in our work. It happened in our relationships. It affects our creativity, our dreams. We became obsessed with doing things right. So much so that we forgot how to do things for real. And here's the core of what I want to talk about today. Perfection isn't the pursuit of excellence. It's the fear of being seen in the process. And that fear, it keeps us on the edges of things that we were meant to just dive into. It makes us question every move. It turns progress, something that should feel more like discovery, into performance. Now, I can tell you, progress and perfection, they usually don't swim in the same pool. Now, I want to bring you back to my daughters for a second. As you guys know that, they swim competitively. And I remember when they were learning to swim, I remember both of them did it, but I'm thinking about my oldest. I remember when she was learning to dive into the pool. And if you're a parent, you probably seen this before. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Or just seen any kid. They're standing at the edge of the pool, goggles tight, toes curled over the edge, arms up, bent over, just ready to dive and jump into the pool. And I can tell you, she was ready, but she wasn't moving. I could see it from her body language. I could see it in her eyes that she wanted to jump, but she didn't want to get it wrong, because this was now where they were learning to do it, learning to do dives in her swim lesson. And that's when it hits me. Sometimes we confuse readiness with perfection. We think we're not ready, when really we're just scared to be seen that we're learning. Eventually she jumped in. It wasn't clean. It was more like a belly flop. She didn't land how she imagined. Water got up her nose. The goggles flipped up a little bit. And the splash, well, we'll just say this: it was a little dramatic, to say the least. But she came up laughing, beaming, giggling, having a good time, wiping her eyes, getting the hair out of her face. I think the hair cap even flipped a little bit. And from that moment on, the fear had less grip on her. Not because the jump was perfect, but because she finally gave herself permission to jump in. And I wonder where you need that same permission today. Where are you standing on the edge of the pool, goggles on, arms up, heart to racing, waiting for the move to feel clean before you leap on in? Because here's the thing: growth is never clean. Heck, growth isn't even graceful, and it's not always cute. It's just a process, a journey. And most of the time, it starts with an awkward splash, water getting up your nose, well before you're ready. Now, let's flip this for a second. Think about the people that you admire most, the ones that inspire you beyond your own capability. Do you love them and like them and follow them because they're perfect? No. You love them because they're real, because they go for it, because they show up, however imperfect, unapologetic, and consistent it may be. Now, so if that is what we admire in other people, why don't we allow that to be what we admire in ourselves? Let me say this clearly. You were not meant to master the water. You were just made to move in it, to feel it, to float in it, trust your rhythm, to discover the strength of your own kick and develop a powerful stroke so that you can move forward. And to realize that you'll never learn how to swim from watching from the water's edge. So if today finds you stuck between perfection and progress, between looking the part and living the life, between performing for approval and moving for joy, let me offer you this. Come on. I'm inviting you. Come back to the water. Not to master it, not to perform in it, but to play again, to trust yourself again, to feel free again. Progress will always ask you to be present. Perfection will always ask you to be polished. But you were created to be powerful. And that power is found in the flow, not in the finish line. So wherever you are this week, whatever edge you're standing on, look, loosen that grip, shake off the pressure, and go ahead, jump in. Not for the applause, not for the perfection, but for the reminder that this life is meant to be lived, not perfected. And as always, guys, love you much.